Good afternoon. So it's so good to see you all in your animal spirit, especially after the Eid. Right? Okay, so I cannot see the slides. So, what a piece of work is man. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action like an angel, in apprehension how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. What a know-it-all guy, this Shakespeare, a real paragon of animals. His apprehension makes him godly. His action makes him angelic. His form, faculty, expression, and reason make him, in lack of a better word, being a human. He's the one who teaches us the art of being human in the humanities. If you take off your clothes, like Salman Khan, oops, I mean like King Lear, you realize you're nothing but an animal. It is the magic cloak of civilization that teaches us to hide our animal selves. For Freud, this would have been a case of repression of id by ego and superego. For Lacan, this would be all about our desire of becoming the other. Essentially, human beings want to become angels or gods covering up their animal entities. Remember Gulliver, whose pair of breeches and a lousy shirt gave him a place among the angel-like beings? When found out that he was nothing but a primate, he was Gmailed out of the horse paradise. Nobody likes yahoos anymore. And Professor can, testify because his Y-mail doesn't work. Okay, next one. Sorry. So the fault in our 6-feet English star was pointed out by Sorrel Nag, a pony. This lazy brown horse's duty was to help Gulliver survive among the extreme rational horses and the irrational monkeys. The food habit of the Winnims and Yahoos reveals an interesting religious agenda. The horse eats milk and fruit that man used to eat in the Garden of Eden before the fall, and Yahoos eat everything that is prohibited in the Bible. Now Sorrel Nag then is both the helper and the destroyer. Now doesn't Nag sound like Nag, the serpent, the creature responsible for the fall of man? The serpent in the Judeo-Christian myth, serpent in the Judeo-Christian myth is very clever. But Sorrel Nag is a full-headed stubborn. In all origin myths, there are some culture heroes whose deliberate and undeliberate actions influence the acts of creation. At least that's how the stories go. Sometimes they give birth to social norms or mores, even without recognizing the needs for them. Prometheus is a great example. Trickster is a generic term assigned to these characters. As Alfonso Ortiz puts it, quote, "The tricksters are always hungry for another meal swiped from someone else's kitchen, always ready to lure someone else's wife into bed, always trying to get something for nothing, shifting shapes, getting caught in the act, ever scheming, never remorseful." Right. Now, we have many such characters in our syllabus. Think of Volpone, based on Reynard the Fox. In the old world, in European stories, the trickster is a jokester, a mischief maker. Remember Puck in Midsummer Night's Dream or Ariel in The Tempest? Trickster par excellence. For the Native Americans, tricksters have a much more complicated role. They are supernatural characters with divine power. The Plains Indians hold Iktomi, so the spider goddess. So the spider as their spirit animal, who is both powerful and powerless. He can both enlarge and shrink himself. He's a prophet and a clown. A trickster is a bundle of paradoxes. Yet, the tribes of North America consider these animals as their guides, their totems, their elder brothers. Now, it's like our very own Shell Mama or Boca Kumid, who helps us understand life. The fox who blamed grapes to be sour could very well be a Banar Mastan Morukhai, who failed to court a pretty girl, now in a revenge mission of scandalizing her. Now, while the fox in the old world acts like a humanized animal, in the new world, the trickster keeps on switching identities, between humans and animals. Now, let us have a quick look at some of these figures. Can I see them? All right, so you get to see some of them from Greece, from Germany. Loki, I'm sure you know from Norse mythology. Moving on. These are the Native American ones, the raven, blue jay, badger, and so on. What do we have here? Nasir, he's a trickster. Okay. So you have so many tricksters all over the world. Okay. Now the trickster is basically one of us. Now the phrase, where do you think it has come from? One of us? The Bible, the Genesis. So now once Satan, in the guise of a serpent, made the first couple bite the forbidden fruit, I quote from the Genesis, the Lord God said, behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore, the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden. So the first couple descended from Eden and came to Newmarket with their iPhones featuring beaten apples in their hands. And who instigated this fall? There you go, Steve Jobs. Nice job. Of the serpent, the trickster, the shapeshifter. His evil design gave us free will. Now, my brush with the trickster began when I went to the US for my second master's in American Indian Studies. Now, why on earth a Bangladeshi student trained in Beowulf to Virginia Woolf and Werewolf would venture to the wild, wild west in Tucson, a city surrounded by a desert infested with rattlesnakes, tarantulas, coyotes, mountain lions, and saguaro cacti? Now, it all started with a book I picked up at the then USIS library at Jibonbima Tower, Dilbusha. So the book title, House Made of Dawn, was written by the 1969 Pulitzer-winning Kiowa Indian author, Natache Scott Momaday. So can you see his picture? Yeah, that's him. Scott Momaday. Now, the novel was about a Vietnam War veteran suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. The medicine man who helped the protagonist, heal from the black magic, created by white men, and that was done through the songs of the medicine man, and the songs were titled The House Made of Dawn. I have never ever read anything like it before. And I wrote my first research article on it. I wrote my proposal for a Fulbright on Momaday, and got it. And the Fulbright Commission placed me at the University of Arizona because Scott Momaday was a professor there. Now, by the time I got there, the pre-registration was over, and Momaday's class, popular that he is, was full. I went to see the department head for an extra seat, just like you do, right? Now, the Cherokee professor, I'm not going to name him, so looked at me suspiciously. He was trying to understand, why a Bangladeshi student, would come to his department. So when he heard that I wanted to study on Momaday, he was doubly surprised. And then he said, but he's a red apple. So this is before Poco, of course. And I had no clue. So I said, what do you mean? And he said, he is red outside, white inside. And, I was confused and I said, I thought he was your trophy professor, your prized possession, so Pulitzer winning author in your department, and you're the head of the department, only your trophy professor read it. So, can you change the slide? So here is Mohammad with George Bush, so you can understand, what's wrong with him. So he looked at me like a blue jay and told me to audit Mohammad's class. So there I was in Mohammad's class. He was teaching Faulkner in a put-on British accent, saying, I wish I could write like him. And it was an amazing class, no wonder. But I kept on pondering. That's what we're supposed to do. The professors are supposed to ponder it. Whether to bite this red apple or not to bite. Now certainly, Mohammad was not one of them. The other Native American teachers were more concerned about the treaty rights, gaming rights, mining rights, healthcare, education, unemployment in the reservation. My survival instinct got better of me. I decided to work on trickster narrative instead. I got introduced to coyote stories by my professor called Tom Home, who himself is a Vietnam War vet. Tom always started his classes with stories, and it was difficult to notice the transition from his casual gossip to the lecture. For my master's thesis, I surveyed the coyote stories of the American Southwest, examining the issues of agency, so questioning who has access to a cultural code. How can a supposedly profane story of a coyote asking the badger for a wife swapping, have a religious connotation when sung in the right way by a Navajo medicine man? I compared the prairie dog coyote with Volpone the fox. I found a story in which the clouds started raining on the coyote who was making love to his neighbor's wife and while cheating, and the clouds started raining on him so that his wife could see where he was making love. And that reminded me of our cake shelter wedding. So when you have the sunshine and the rain together, and that's when you have the wedding of the fox. And I kept on telling myself, how can you have a proverb and the story is lying across the ocean? Maybe behind all proverbs there are stories, which have been lost. Maybe they were too profane to our sensibility and then we censored them, edited them, and they are not there. We are left with only the tip of the iceberg. So, what did I do? I used the coyote narratives to survive in the department. So the coyote stories helped me survive the departmental politics. Little wonder, when I went to London for my PhD, I wanted to work on Ted Hughes' Trickster Crow. But my supervisor, I have bad luck with supervisors. So William Rowe, dismissed Ted Hughes, saying he was rubbish. Okay? So, again, I had to put on my survival coat, conjure my trickster spirit. I ended up writing my thesis on the shamanic. One figure who helped me frame argument was the German artist Joseph Beuys. Beuys did a performance called I Like America, America Likes Me, in order to show his disgust for American capitalism and politics. So what he did is very interesting. So this is Joseph Beuys. So he flew into a plane, so landed in America, and he was saying that I'm not going to interact with any Americans. So he covered himself with a felt blanket, and he went straight into, so he took an ambulance because America is sick. So he took an ambulance, all covered up, and entered a cage where the coyote was. And he stayed with the coyote for 7 days, and then he wrapped himself up again with the felt blanket, took the ambulance, took the flight back to Berlin. That's it, right? And he said, I like America and America likes me, because the coyote was friendly with him. So, in coyote, Beuys found his animal spirit. I guess I have to. Thank you.